Islamic influence came to the Berbers in almost a millennium of domination in Europe. In the beginning of the 16th century, the region was placed under protection by the Ottoman Sultan of Istanbul, followed by reign of Ottoman Beys, brought in to the beginning of the political inferiority cause. Algeria became independent in 1962, and Arabic became an official language with the little of Quran, the teacher of Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Dr. Ronnie Brailsford and Reverend Brailsford. Land 15 to 30 miles wide and 295 miles long on either bank of the Gambia River, except for a short coastline. It is surrounded by Senegal. Its usual shape and size are attributed to territorial compromise, arising from the 19th century Anglo-French rivalry in Western Africa. After 200 years of British colonial rule, Gambia gained its independence in 1965. It formed a short-lived federation of Senegambia and Senegal rule between 1982 and 1989. In 1991, the two major nations signed a friendship and cooperation treaty. The military coup in 1994 overthrew the president and banned political activity. The country undertook another round in presidential and legislative elections in late 2000 and early 200. The leader of the coup has been elected president in all subsequent elections. Ladies and gentlemen, Gambia, Dominique Gray and Candace Johnson. The serious fighting resumed in late 1998, rendering hundreds and thousands of people homeless. Up to 1.5 million lives may have been lost in fighting over the past century. The death of Jonah Zimbabwe and the ceasefire of China made both well for the country. Ladies and gentlemen, Angola, Dr. George and Charles Hamilton. Now, coming from Benin is Reverend Betty Wanamaker and Reverend Dr. Steve. Present at Benin was the site of dominant and prominent West African kingdom that rose in the 15th century. The territory became a French colony in 1872 and achieved independence on August 1st, 1960, as the Republic of Benin. The succession of military government ended in 1972 with the rise of Cairo and the establishment of government based on Marxist-Lenin's principles. A move that representative government began in 1989. 2 years later, free elections ushered in former Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Betty Wanamaker and Reverend multi-party constitutional democracy. Each of the elections and independence has a free debate. Tourism is increasingly important in Botswana. Ladies and gentlemen, Botswana. Independence from France in 1960. Repeated military coups from the 1970s and 1980s were followed by multi-party elections in the early 1990s. Burkina Faso, a highly populated density and limited natural resources, result in poor economic prospects for the majority of the citizens. Recent unrest in Cote d'Ivoire and northern Ghana has hindered the ability of several hundred thousands of seasonal BURKINA farm workers to find employment in the neighboring economics. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, Burkina Faso. Subsequently became a trading center for African slaves, and later an important polling and resupply stop for whaling and translation shipping. Following independence and maintained until multi-party elections were held. Cape Verde exploration population is greater than its domestic one. Most Cape Verdes have both African and Portuguese descendants. Ladies and gentlemen, on the island, Cape Verde, is David and her son. A brief civil war in 1997 restored former Marxist president. The government installed in 1992, but unushered in the period of ethnical rest. Southern-based rebels agreed to a final peace accord in March 2003, but the calm and continuing refugees continued to end. Humanitarian right now. The Congo is one of the Africa's largest populations, petroleum producers with significant potential for offshore development. Ladies and gentlemen, shaking down the aisle. Ladies and gentlemen, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. To the north of Ethiopia and bordering the Red Sea in northeast. It has a mixed Afro-Asiatic population that is divided by religion and language. This country is one of Africa's newest independent nations. The former Italian and British colony gained formal independence from Ethiopia/colonizer in 1993, but independence did not end the wars in Eritrea. Conflicts with Yemen and Ethiopia followed. Latest UN reports warned that the humanitarian situation in Europe was deteriorating, mainly due to resident drought and the protracted stalemate in the peace process with Ethiopia. Now representing the country Ethiopia. Ethiopia is the oldest independent country in Africa and one of the oldest in the world, at least 2,000 years old. The country comprises of more than 80 ethnic groups and has many languages. Primarily, their shared independent existence unites Ethiopia's many nations. Unique among African countries, Ethiopia has never been resisted, one exception being the Italian occupation in 1936-41. In 1974, a military disposed in Europe and established a socialistic state, torn by bloody wars. Uprisings, wide-scale drought, and massive refugee problems, the regiment of ALGERIA was finally toppled as a twin of rival forces. The Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front in 1991. The new constitution was adopted in 1994, which brother Mary Kelly and sister Janice Frank. Born from the birth of the British colony of the Gold Coast in the Toglan Trust Treaty in 1996, but was constitutionally prevented from running for a third term in 2000. John defeated former Vice President Adam Mills in a free and fair election succeeded him. Country of Ghana. In December 1999, the military, the first ever in Coast of Ivory's history, overthrew the government. Leader blatantly rigged elections held in late 2000 and declared himself the winner. Popular protests forced him to step aside and brought him into power. Iberian dissidents and disaffected members of the military launched a failed coup attempt in September 2002. Rebel forces claimed the northern half of the country and in January 2003 were granted ministerial positions in the United government under the auspices of the peace accord. In March 2007, the President MOI ceded to internal and external pressure for political liberalization in late 1991. President MOI stepped down in December of 2002 following fair and peaceful elections. The National Rainbow Coalition defeated the candidate and assumed the presidency following a campaign centered on anti-corruption platform. This is the Republic of Kenya. This election prompted a brief but bloody South African military intervention. Constitutional reforms have since restored political stability. Peaceful parliamentary elections were held in 2002. However, Lesotho is one of the 3 remaining monarchies in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, continent of Lesotho. Socialism and Islam, which he calls the Third International Theory. Viewing himself as a revolutionary leader, he used oil funds during the 1970s and 1980s to promote his ideology outside of Libya, even supporting subversives and terrorists abroad to hasten the end of Marxism and capitalism. Libyan military adventures failed. The prolonged foray of Libyan troops into the strips in northern Chad was finally proposed in 1987. Libyan support for terrorism decreased after UN sanctions were imposed in 1992. Those sanctions were suspended in April 1999. Ladies and gentlemen, the country of Libya. Inhabited by various ethnic groups of mixed African and Malayan, Indonesian, and Arab ancestry. 5 centuries before the Europeans discovered the island below Indonesian seafarers arrived around the 1st century AD. Ladies and gentlemen, the country of Madagascar. Representing Malawi. Malawi's predominantly rural population is comprised of various tribes that migrated from other parts of Africa. According to its gross national income, the Republic of Malawi is the poorest country in Africa. Its economy is agro-based. There is a small tourism sector which is being primed for growth. The former British protectorate became the independent nation of Malawi in 1964. First democratic multi-party elections were held in 1994. After 3 decades of one-party rule, a provisional constitution took full effect in 1995. In the 2004 election, the UDF party was voted in again for the 3rd time since 1994. Ladies and gentlemen, Malawi.
By the Dutch, French, and British before independence was attained in 1968. A stable democracy with regular free elections and a positive human rights record. The country has attracted considerable foreign investment and has earned one of Africa's highest per capita incomes. Recent poor weather and declining sugar prices have slowed economic growth, leading to some protests over standards of living in the rural community. Ladies and gentlemen, the country of Morocco.
South Africa got a twist. South Africa got a twist. South Africa got a twist. All right now.
by the overwhelming dominance of the ruling class and economic infrastructure left behind by British, Russian, and American military assistance programs. Somalia.
Mississippi, Texas, and Louisiana. Attorney is wearing a J.K. from Ghana. It was made in 2001 in the hood of Accra, Ghana, by a tailor named WOSE.
the Reverend Betty Lou.
Hey!
Carol in this endeavor, and especially pray for their strength. Pray for their strength. That when they reach the goal that God has set for them, that they will do the work of the Lord. And we know that He will do that because look where we are. Look where God has brought us from. Yeah. So I want to thank you all again, thank all the participants. And I just give honor and glory to God for giving me this opportunity to add to the kingdom. Amen? Yeah.
Congratulations again, Reverend Ronnie. This will probably be the last time I speak to you all before our pastor comes up. But on behalf of the Brailsford Bishop campaign, in particular, in 2012, steering committee of the King and Queen March and Taste of Africa, I would like to personally thank you all for being here and supporting this endeavor. We could not do this without you.
That He has done, great things that He is doing, and great things He will do. To Bishop David R. Daniels, the presiding prelate of the 14th Episcopal District, which is West Africa, in the A.M.E. Church, and the president of the Bishops' Council of the A.M.E. Church worldwide, and his lovely queen and our sister, Supervisor Irene Daniels. Will you all please stand? We have the president of the Bishops' Council of the A.M.E. Church for the entire world. And they are our brother and our sister. He is president of the council and could easily be in St. Louis, Missouri, where the general board is convening and meeting over the next 2 days. But he has made the sacrifice, he and his lovely wife, to be here, to be with us, and we say thank you all so very much. Give them another